Hello, workmates. Welcome to Work and Talk in PH, your go to podcast for lifestyle insights, career convos, and real estate realness, where chill convos meet real life lessons because hashtag it works.
I'm Mary Chris, and today we're diving into the story of social entrepreneur who turned her passion for culture and community into a movement. We'll talk about how she built ANTHILL Fabric Gallery, why weaving is more than just a tradition, but a tool for empowerment, and what her journey can teach us about living, working, dreaming right here in the Philippines. Let's welcome Anya Lim to the podcast. Thank you so much, Anya, for taking time to saying yes last minute.
Of course, I can't ever say no to you, but no, thank you for always giving
We
us a
want to
voice.
be able to share your stories to all our
opportunity.
listeners, that you can do your passion here in the Philippines. And we wanted to start, how did you get into weaving, your interest in weaving, like visiting
Yeah.
the villages? Like, how did it start, growing up?
Yeah, I always associate my origin story or our origin story to the way I was raised by my parents. My parents were both very nationalistic, and my mom actually was the first batch of the Jesuit volunteer program. Yeah, so I grew up with a lot of bedtime stories about her mission trips
Because
and
they,
her
they, they
field
get
work.
sent to a province for
Yes.
1 month.
1 year.
1 year without any contact.
Yeah, hindi naman without contact,
Yeah.
but back in the day, dahil wala
Yes.
namang smartphones, para na ding walang
Talagang walang
contact.
contact.
Yeah. So yun, I think early on, at a very young age, I was just always fascinated listening to her stories, and it piqued my curiosity. So, yeah, when I grew up, when I was an adult,
When
and
you were still in school, like
yeah,
you wanted
when
to
I
do
was
this
in
already.
no naman, but when I was in school, I grew up kasi with my parents also being in a textile business, and then my parents would always take us to
The villages.
yeah, immersing in the villages during summer.
Yeah,
We didn't
yeah.
really have the means to like travel abroad or something. So it was always traveling local, like this raw spots
Yes,
around the
yes.
country. And then I had a stint in development sector, but when my parents
Yeah.
were encouraging me to start my own business, I was dead set on it being a social enterprise because I wanted to really support the weaving communities. I was also very fortunate that I had the opportunity to like immerse myself in different
Yeah.
indigenous villages when I was doing research. And I think the more I got immersed in these villages, the more that passion or that determination to start something that will support them strengthened. Kasi it's mostly matatanda na lang yung
Yes.
nagwi-weave.
What year was this?
This was my first research was 2009.
2009.
Tagal na. 2009, no, I was transitioning from a previous
Yeah,
job.
but you graduated in Australia, diba?
No, so Australia happened while I already had ANTHILL.
Well, you already
Yeah.
had
So
okay.
the reason also why I went to pursue a master's degree in communications for social change was because I want our business model to really be owned by
Yes.
our partners.
Yes.
I want it to be a shared ownership or
Yes.
shared partnership. I feel like our business model would be successful if it's something that's shared. And
Yes,
I
they
want
have a stake in it.
yes, exactly. And I wanted to
And
learn
you did this from the start.
yes, all the time. It's always
Yeah.
very participatory. But I think I wanted to feel more confident as an entrepreneur and as a development practitioner. So my background kasi and my experience in my career wasn't necessarily in business or
Yes.
wasn't necessarily in development, right? And I was a reluctant entrepreneur. My immersion naman in Australia with development, the
Yes.
development sector there strengthened my confidence and my
Yes.
competencies also, my skills. Yeah.
So tell us more on the strength. I think of ANTHILL is really your community
Yeah.
program. So tell us
Yes.
more about this and how our
Thank
listeners.
you. I think that's really what sets us apart, and that's also what has allowed us to build a strong foundation of the business. In ANTHILL, the core of our work is really capacity
Community,
building.
yeah.
Yeah. So we have a community enterprise development program where we transfer business skills to our partner artisans, and then we allow them to become self-reliant and become independent. Tinuturoan namin sila mag-costing, product design and innovation. We also have a master and apprentice program. So the weavers we augment their income by 20% with the condition that they teach a younger weaver
That's
to
good.
facilitate cultural continuity.
Yeah.
So meron ding financial literacy and savings program. So all these programs we co-designed with the community partners because this is what they express they need in their business. And that strengthened the supply chain. So
How long is it, from signing up to
it takes
getting
so
them?
long.
Like a year?
Yeah, no.
Oh, wow.
Usually, so we spend about 10 years.
10 years.
Development takes a while, and 5 years, the first 5 years in Anthill was really a lot of these trainings,
Training.
right? But it takes a while for a community to feel that they're ready
Yes.
to be on their own.
Yes.
So in 2020, actually, at the peak of the pandemic, that was when a lot of our partner artisans decided to become independent of us. So because we had savings program, they asked us to release their savings program so that they can apply what they learned from
Yes.
us in terms of the entrepreneurship
Yes.
skills. And then they all set out to invest in their own businesses. So yung mga weavers, because of the pandemic, farmers, naging online sellers,
Yes, yes.
We had partner artisans who were selling plants,
Yes,
naging
yes,
plantita,
plantita.
who were also selling mga kakanin or what they cook. May nagkaroon ng sari-sari store, may nagkaroon ng baking business, ganun. So that was all the result of,
Yes.
of the investment we've put into the community. But it's a two-way thing, right?
Yeah.
They also put in so much work and commitment.
And then how is the reception with the younger ones? The Gen Z and the Generation Alpha
Yeah,
with weaving.
I think ngayon dahil nakikita nila that more customers, more proud weavers are wearing
And
our,
it's cool
our weaves.
already.
Yeah,
It's
like, uy, bata yung nagsusuot din. So
Yes.
nai-entice sila
All
and
these
they feel
influencers.
a sense of pride that they're
So
also
there's a
wearing.
stress now.
Yes, among
Because
younger
it's,
weavers.
it's not only a trend, but Filipinos really use it na talaga
Yeah,
every day.
yeah. And there's more
before,
appreciation.
There's no, diba?
Yeah.
No ready to wear, no weaves.
Yes,
but now
exactly.
it's
It's
like
accessible
it's
now.
accessible.
Yeah.
So what was your journey about staying true to the core of Anthill, scaling, and really, staying on path through
I-
the years?
I think I would say like primarily we kept every decision that we make very participatory. It's always anchored on prioritizing what's important for our artisan partners. And a very powerful line is we have to always honor that before they are weavers, they are mothers first. And that Anthill is an enabling platform, not just for them to be able to have sustainable livelihood or not only for them to be able to celebrate their craft, but for them to become better mothers.
I
And
love
nanggaling
that.
naman yun sa kanila.
Yes.
Nanggaling sa kanila. Parang pinaka-powerful testimonial that I've ever heard from a mom,
Yes.
Mar, that shared is dahil sa partnership po namin with Anthill, I am a better mother.
It's
Ayun.
so very
Yeah.
fulfilling to go through this
Yeah.
journey. And why Anthill? Why did you name the brand Anthill? I never
Yeah.
asked you this question.
So my mom actually named the company. We were inspired by a business model in New York called Beehive that kind of brought together different small entrepreneurs. And so Anthill is an acronym. That's why I always say you have to write it in all caps. So it means alternative nest for trading or training hub for indigenous or ingenious little livelihood
First time.
seekers. It's so long. It's a handful.
Anthill na lang.
Ano na lang. It's a mouthful, but it also really represents what we do. Yun.
So do you think Philippine weaving is undervalued compared to the other
Yes,
of
like
the world?
lalo na before, better now, but until now there are still a lot of Filipinos who don't understand why they are expensive. They don't really understand the process of weaving, or they have this mentality that because it's made in the Philippines, it's supposed to be cheap.
Yes.
Yun. But I think there's a better appreciation of our crafts now.
How
Yeah.
long does it take to finish like a pattern?
So it really varies, but the setting up of the loom takes a day. The warping alone takes a day. And then you make a pattern, and an average weaver is only able to make like 4 to 5 meters a day.
Yes.
So it's really a lot of work.
lot of
yeah. And that's like in between, managing their household.
Yeah.
And it also varies. Like there are fibers like abaca. When it's too hot, the abaca breaks. So they have to keep knotting it for them to be able to weave
It
again.
takes a
And-
lot of work.
Yeah. And mahirap talaga siya. Like hindi lang siya cross stitch. It's not a simple craft. Yeah. And imagine like we have a lot of intricate patterns, right? They count in their heads, To me, it's really mind-blowing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like yung binakol na pattern, for example, eto. Paano nila nagagawang consistent yung
Correct.
pattern? word. Nagbibilang
correct.
sila in their head. So it takes a lot of skill.
So that's why
If I were a weaver, I wouldn't allow people
I
to
think
just
I'll
pay
fail.
me. Exactly. I don't think, yeah.
And with the modern designs of Anthil, how do you still, make sure it's modern but still keep true to the traditional weaving? How do
Yeah.
how do you balance, being modern and staying true to the tradition of a certain
To be honest, in terms of designs, we don't really veer away from our
Okay.
classics. Like, yung panyo skirt,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, and
yeah.
the panyo kapa, it's been around since
From the
2000,
start, yeah.
2014, more than a decade. We also try as much to focus on what's important for our customers. So functionality, versatility, and circularity. We're big
Yeah.
on circularity, and we want it to be respectful. The use of the weaves, we always make sure that it's respectful to what our communities also make,
Yes.
right?
For aspiring social entrepreneurs, Anya, what's your advice to them? What do you think is the Philippines' greatest strength in
That's
your
such a good
industry?
question. What's your greatest strength? Naalala ko lang with all these flood control climate, there was a huge placard, right? Something like, wala na akong resilience, or, di ba, parang maganon? Because I was gonna say, we're very resilient people. But now that, after 15 years, I think, to be honest, personally, for me, what really kind of kept me going and what sustained me is creativity. Like, look at this place. I don't think it would have come to life if I'm not able to collaborate with creative
Yes,
people such
yes,
as our brand
yes.
partners, right? Like, Filipinos are so ingenious. They have this innate creative spirit. They're very imaginative. They're able to do so many things they're very resourceful.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's really our strength. And in a social enterprise space, creativity isn't just limited to products. It's also about solutions. You have to have creative solutions. You have to be strategic. It's also about creating creative systems. So it's not limiting when we talk about creativity. But to be honest, that's really kind of what has sustained us for the past 15 years. For me personally, to know that this is my playground, that here I can have fun, I can fail, I can create something, it can work, it cannot work, okay lang. Like, some people like it, some people
Yeah.
don't. It's fine. But to me, it's a form of
Yes.
self-expression.
A lot of people are still talking about moving abroad,
Yeah.
chasing bigger markets. How has staying here, working with local communities, shape your opportunities or limitations?
Oh, you know what? You'd be surprised, because I had this conversation with my mom and my dad, because they dreamt for me to work in a multinational then, and or like work abroad, because they feel like that's where the greener pasture
Yes.
is, right? But investing in a social enterprise, investing in local communities, you'd be surprised. I had the same amount of opportunities, in fact, even more. Like, I'd never in my entire life thought that I would be, meeting ambassadors, serving big clients, learning so much from amazing mentors. I feel like you have to, I mean, this is cliche, but you have to grow where you're planted. I think that, the grass is greener where you grow it.
Yes,
You
yes.
have to sort of invest in the resources that you have. The more you kind of have this mindset that you're missing out on something, the more you're not able to make the most of what you already have. And our country is so rich with resources.
Yes.
And when I talk about resources, talent, natural resources, I think we just have to be able to nurture that in a way where it benefits the future generation. Yun.
So for all the aspiring social entrepreneurs out there, aside from passion, what are your top 3 traits that they need to start now or need to
Yeah.
hone? Three
Uh,
traits.
I think you have to hone your people management skills. I have a mentor who shared that as an entrepreneur, two things will never go away: managing cash flow and managing people. So number one is your people management skills. You have to balance, how to be a good leader. To put it simply. Number one. Number two is understand what the numbers tell you. I'm not very good at accounting, finances isn't my strength, but when you're in business, you have to make sound decision based on data. It has to make sense. And then number three is not to take yourself seriously. Like, you have to learn that and accept that you can't control everything.
Yes.
Yan.
Just do your best and
Yeah.
then just learn from it. If it doesn't go well.
Yeah, you have to be agile and flexible.
So 15 years for Anthill. What's your yeah, what's your vision for Anthill in the next 5 to 10 years?
There's so
Anya?
many things happening in the next few years. Right now, we're owning the space of circularity in the Philippines. This month, we're launching the very first circularity hub in the country.
Wow.
We're focusing on upcycling textile waste and providing circular solutions to companies, big and small. And that's one. Number two is we really want to be able to bring our weaves to the world. So we're also wanting to grow our fabric business to show that the fabrics are not just for apparel, but they can be used even for interiors, upholstery. Like we dream of hotels and cafes,
Yes.
not just here, but around the world using our weaves. Yeah. Galing, diba?
Very exciting, Ant. We'd
I
love to
know.
be with you in this journey.
Yes, no, of course. Yeah.
Finally, if there's one belief or mindset every Filipino should carry when it comes to culture, craft, and livelihood, what would it be? Mindset.
Pride. Like, wear your tribe, wear with pride. That's always our battle cry here. And yeah, that's really sort of true to heart. I always say that's what we sell. We sell pride.
Live
Yeah.
proud.
Live proud. Yes. Pride.
Thank you so much,
for the
Anya.
opportunity.
Thank you so much, Anya, for sharing with us not just the story of Anthill, but also the deeper mission of weaving traditions, livelihood, and sustainability into one. Your journey shows us that entrepreneurship isn't only about building a brand, it's about building communities and keeping culture alive. To all our listeners, I hope Anya's journey reminds you that business and purpose are not opposites, but partners. No matter what industry we're in, we all have the chance to honor where we come from while shaping where we're going. Like Anya, we can choose to live, work, and dream right here in the Philippines and do it with heart, vision, and purpose. Again, I am Mary Chris, and this is Work and Talk in PH, your go-to podcast for lifestyle insights, career convos, and real estate realness, where chilled convos meet real-life lessons because it works.